Hi everyone, this is Shelly, also known as Letters by Shells on Instagram. So today we'll be using some fun products today by Pearlcolors. I absolutely love their palettes in general because it has like just like this fun sparkle to them. So we'll be using, I'm going to focus more on the candy palette today for this one, but I just want to go ahead and showcase all the other colors they have as well. Yes, you can see here. So today, a couple of things. We're going to be using black cardstock so you can really see the color contrast with the colors, along with a few paintbrushes and a pointed pen as well. I also have a pipette here for like the water dropper for the palettes, but it's really not, you don't really need this pipette as well, but I just wanted to give you some different variations. And again, we also have a cup of water as well. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with just making sure how to get the palette started. So one thing I appreciate about Pearlcolors is that I love how they also have, like, every palette you purchase, they have a color chart, so you can basically go ahead and see which color palette that you received as well in the same palette. So I just wanted to go ahead and showcase that also. Let's go ahead and put this to the side. So with the palette itself, you'll see that it comes with 6 colors in their individual palettes. And I think it's just fun because it has like a good selection of each palette, and each palette usually has a specific theme to it. So this is like a candy palette, so it just has like really fun colors that pop as well. And the one thing about it is that it's cool because you can also pop these palettes out just in case if you wanted to buy like refillable ones, or you need to swap out a color as well. So a couple of things. Let's go ahead and show, if I were to use this pipette, I'm going to go ahead, just grab some water here, and then we just really just put a couple of droplets into the palette also. You can see here. So then you'll just let that sit for about 3 minutes, and that's one way. Another way that I absolutely love to do it as well is just getting a paintbrush and dabbing into water and just basically applying water over that palette as well, or that specific color. So you'll see that I'm just going to go ahead and work the water in just like that. And again, same thing applies where you just go ahead and let it sit for about 3 minutes. So then I'm going to go ahead and let that color work. So sometimes if you put a little bit too much water, it's totally okay. Just go ahead and let it sit a little bit longer, and you'll notice that once the water gets absorbed within a couple of minutes, it'll start to create this like really thick paste to it. And you can honestly use a paintbrush or use a pointed pen to get that started as well. So I'll go ahead and just let it sit for a couple more minutes. Okay, so it looks like that's just that's a good amount of time. I went ahead and sped up the video for this process as well. So I'll go ahead and do 2 different ways. I'm going to go ahead just use a water brush here. This is the one by Pentel. So I'm going to go ahead, and if I were to just grab some pigment here, this is a pink color, it's just super gorgeous. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to draw a few lines here so you can really see the color come to life. And you can also just add more color in there, just like that. So one thing I really love about Pearlcolors palette is that it's really, the colors are very opaque, and you can see that they're really rich in color as well. And honestly, just has like a nice touch to it. So, and the one thing I like about it is that you can both alternate between pointed pen and using a brush as well. So I went ahead and just wanted to showcase what it was like if I were to use just a regular brush. Let me go ahead and clean that out. So now the fun part, we're going to go ahead and use a pointed pen as well. So this is the one that I'm using by Ink Me This, which is super gorgeous, and I just love the finish to it. So I'm going to go ahead and now grab some of the blue color that I worked with earlier. And honestly, if you waited too long and if it's not as thick anymore, just go back and just add more water to it as well. So with this process, I'm going to go ahead and now grab, just like place the nib in this direction. And I'm going to go ahead and grab enough pigment with the brush itself and just go ahead and apply onto the nib also. So you'll see that I'm just going ahead and applying as much color. Go ahead and see that. Don't know if it's in focus, but so you'll see that I'm going to apply these brush-like strokes to like really make sure that the pigment's on there. So with this one, it's called the Peacock Blue. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw some lines again. So you'll see once the process dries, it has like a really fun twist to it. And don't worry, I'll go ahead and add some still photos as well, so you can see them up close. So one thing I wanted to go ahead and highlight is when you do use the nib for the Pearlcolor palette, make sure that when you do add the color on here as well, just go ahead and make sure that just go ahead and tap off the excess water, so that way it's not super liquidy when you are using it as well. But I'm going to go ahead and show different variations and go ahead and use the other colors here. So you can basically also see how the other colors really pop, and we're going to go ahead and use the same exact method as well. And I think one thing I really appreciate about Pearlcolors is that, you know, it doesn't really matter what color you use, and it doesn't really matter which medium you use, whether it's pointed pen and brush. The color is pretty, it's true to the color itself that you see on the palette, and it's pretty close to it. So that's the reason why I absolutely love just like their color selection, because I know that no matter which color I purchase, I know that if I go ahead and use it on like a black sheet of paper, white sheet of paper, it'll be true to color as well, which is why I really appreciate and love their palettes. So usually when I use the pointed pen for the Pearlcolors palettes, the reason why I just keep the paintbrush next to me is because I know that I'll always, depending on a couple of letters, I'll just be refilling and adding more ink to the nib. So I'll just go ahead and keep all this close by as well. Okay, so there you have it, everyone. One thing I love about just using the Pearlcolor palette is basically it doesn't really matter which medium you do use, which is pointed pen or paintbrush. You can basically achieve the exact same results, because you'll see that all the colors here definitely pop, and you'll see that it really doesn't like matter which medium you do use, because they are both so easy to use. And feel free to also check out Pearlcolors and their other wonderful palettes they do have. Thank you, everyone.